Wanted to get this video out of the way. We have The Walking Dead. We have the 13th episode. Actually, I have like less than 20 minutes left on my current Better Call Saul episode, so that review will be out for you guys tomorrow. And also later tonight, we'll have an NBA recap as well as 2 more streams. So the channel, so I should be popping like this weekend. You know, we should have a lot of shit to talk about. So yeah. We'll be able to get through music tonight, and then tomorrow, maybe during the other basketball games, I can grind some triple threat or something like that, so that'll be fun. But let's get through the plot and the critical reception, because I gotta leave for class here in like an hour and a minute or so, hour 6 minutes, around that range. So I need to get this video out, and then I need to record my, Sofago album reaction. But a flashback shows Bob wandering on his own, kind of. At first, you don't realize this is a flashback. You think he's like genuinely by himself, and they're like showing him after the group, which is weird because I guess we've kind of forgot about his storyline. But no, this is a flashback that shows him like before this group. One day he was approached by Daryl and Glenn. So Daryl and Glenn are the ones that found him and took him into the group. We kind of learned that. We kind of knew this because Daryl's like, look, I'm the one that took you in. After asking Bob the 3 questions to be able to join the prison, Daryl lets Bob come with them. He like passes the test, and they accept him into the group. And now here we are, with Bob being in the group. So in the present, Bob, Sasha, and Maggie are staying together after the prison attack. Maggie insisting they look for Glenn. That's kind of their purpose. They want to reunite with Glenn. Because fuck everyone else, right? Fuck Beth. Screw Beth, right, Maggie? Anyway, Bob is almost bitten in a walker attack, but the wound only rips at his bandages, so obviously some plot convenience, some luck there. Bob stays alive. Sasha, who has come to appreciate Bob, is relieved, so they've started to like create a bond, maybe a little bit of an intimate relationship. There's not much there to go off of, but it's a somewhat intimate relationship, and they've both started to like each other a lot, so that there's that. As they travel, they discover a sign near train tracks directing them to Sanctuary at Terminus. So pretty much all the survivors have seen this sign at this point, except for maybe... Oh no, Rick, Carl, and Michonne have seen it. I know, I want to say Beth and Daryl have seen it. Tyrese has definitely seen it with the kids and Carol, but yeah. Bob recalls a radio broadcast he had heard on a supply run about Terminus and suggests they go there. Maggie agrees, believing Glenn may have made it there too, which, yeah, he probably has. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen that sign, and they're like heading there now, so that's good. I think what we're setting up for at the end of the season is everyone kind of meeting up at Terminus, so that's pretty exciting. Sasha, believing they should look for other signs of Glenn's survival, concedes to the others. She's like, whoa, let's not make assumptions here. Glenn could be anywhere. Because all we care about is Maggie, right, and Glenn. We don't want to look for Tyrese. Bob doesn't want to look for Daryl, Yeah, we don't only care about Maggie. That was kind of the annoying part, is like they didn't even care to look for any other survivors. Like, oh yeah, Glenn. Yeah. When they set up camp that night, Maggie decides to go off on her own, leaving a note to the others. She feels it is too dangerous for them to join her. She's been known to like be able to handle situations, obviously. And these others, she doesn't. I mean, she's kind of like frowning down upon them. Like she's like, oh, I don't see it in you guys. I don't know if you guys can make it with me, which is kind of fucked up, honestly. Let's be honest. It's kind of fucked up. But yeah, she leaves a sign and she leaves them behind. They find another sign for Terminus, along with a blood-written note from Maggie to Glenn telling them to go to Terminus and know they're on the right track. So she's pretty much leading them right to her as well as Glenn, so obviously they're going to be able to find her eventually. Sometime later, they arrive at a small rail town, but there's no sign of Maggie. Like, where did she go? There's no way she's gone farther than this on her own. She had to have settled down for the night. Let's see. Sausage suggests they can make this a permanent camp, but Bob refuses, wanting to continue to Terminus. He's like, look, there's civilization there. I'm not leaving her behind for this. After kissing Sasha, he leaves on his own. So Sasha is now left alone by herself, and that's why this episode's called Alone, because everybody in this group kind of separates, which kind of sucks. Which it had to happen eventually, but yeah. Bob makes Sasha know that he loves her. right? Sasha, while watching him depart, spots Maggie's body amidst a pile of walker corpses. So she's like assuming Maggie's dead. She's like laying with a bunch of walkers. But in her surprise, she knocks out a window, luring walkers nearby. So Maggie, who had only used the walkers' corpses to mask herself while sleeping, wakes up and helps Sasha kill the walkers. So Maggie is in fact alive, and I kind of know this because people have kind of spoiled some things. I'm not going to say anything to you guys, any details, but yeah, we know. They agree to catch up to Bob and continue to Terminus. So again, later, Glenn also sees one of the signs for Terminus, so Glenn's on the right track. So, again, the season's kind of gearing up to end with everybody meeting in Terminus. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's kind of like a marathon to get there. Like, will you make it? You know, who will make it? Who won't? Elsewhere, Daryl teaches Beth how to track and use his crossbow. So we're moving on to their situation. So that's kind of cool. When a walker surprises them, they turn to flee, but Beth gets her foot caught in an animal trap, and Daryl is forced to carry her. I don't know who the fuck. I mean, I guess people are just laying animal traps in the middle of nowhere during an apocalypse. It's kind of strange because anyone can run into that. That is what it is. They come to a large house that overlooks a graveyard. It's like kind of like a funeral home, I think. Daryl secures them inside, and they discover it is a surprisingly well-kept funeral home. Yes, the rooms are clean, there's a supply of food, and various dead walkers are dressed in formal gear as if for a funeral. So, like, this person clearly cared about these people. They cared about their job. This place is still being tended to, and it's, like, been very recent since they've last, like, cleaned the place up, right? Daryl believes someone has been keeping the place, but cannot find that person, and they never do in this episode. Who knows where they went? Who knows who is settling down? But yeah, they take some of the provisions, and Beth leaves a note thanking their provider. She like has faith. She's like, "Thank you so much. You know, like we needed this." So that's great. As they wait out the night, Daryl hears a dog barking at the door, but when he goes to see, the dog runs away. Probably like a stray dog that's been like abused by his former owner. So he like runs away, probably pretty traumatized. You know, some like abused dogs are. You know. Sometime later, the dog barks again, but when Daryl answers the door, a group of walkers flood the house. So they kind of have like a fucking alert dog out there. Like, what the hell? What is this dog doing? It's kind of funny. He holds back the horde, giving Beth time to escape out a back window before he follows. He exits the house just in time to see a car driving off with a white cross on its rear windows, inferring that Beth found a hearse and she's driving away. So now, Daryl is alone. That's why the episode's called Alone, because all the survivors kind of separate for a while and are alone. Seeing Beth's bag nearby, he realizes she has been abducted. Oh. And tries to chase down the car to no avail. I didn't even realize this. So the person that was living in the house abducted Beth. That's interesting. Okay, I never realized that. I thought it was just her driving away. I don't know why she would have the keys to that, but whatever. Chase down the car, no avail. After a while walking, Daryl collapses, then finds himself surrounded by several armed men, the same group that previously invaded the house in which Rick, Carl, and Michonne were staying. I didn't know this either. I mean, I don't think this show is clear enough sometimes in saying things. That's interesting. Their leader, Joe, played by Jeff Kober, gets everyone to lower their weapons and asks Daryl to join their group. So Daryl has found a new group, which is very interesting. That's very interesting. But anyways, let's get to the reception. Not a lot to say about this episode. I mean, very positive reviews, of course. You know, the writing, Beth's disappearance, the reintroduction of Joe and the Marauders, Bob Stuckey's character development. Those were all like big highlights of this episode. A- on the AV Club, and what future historians will refer to as the post-Governor era of The Walking Dead. The show has stepped in to fill the gap left by the conclusion of Breaking Bad. Wow, I mean, at the time, Breaking Bad was just ending. This is now AMC's very slow-moving, contemplative, character-based genre show that may go a long time between outbreaks of bloody mayhem, outbreaks that serve as beats in the action, but that scarcely threaten to overshadow the quieter moments. So I got a 7.8 out of 10 on IGN. So yeah, that's some pretty interesting context. Like, Breaking Bad just ended, and this show kind of took over, but I don't really have time. I got to get into my Sophia album reaction. I'm really excited. You guys will be too to see the video, so I will post that on the channel. Shouldn't be that long of a video, but I say that every time. So have a good rest of your day. See you on stream tonight.